Hi, I'm Reynolds with Organics, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how to interpret a soil test that you may have just received. A soil test is kind of like a snapshot of basically what you're going to be needing to put into your soil, so it's kind of a good idea to have one done, especially the first year that you're growing. Some of the things that you're going to see on here on your test is going to be like your pH range, and it'll give you some numbers. Like this one here says that it's a 7.3, which is in the normal range. Between 0 and 14 is your pH range, 0 being more acid and 14 being extremely alkali. Where this one's a 7.3, it's really close to normal here, or in the neutral zone, so it's normal. And so you can put on a happy face if you get something near your neutral zone. Then they also test for other things like salinity, which is your salt content. You really want that to be closer to the lower number, the better. When you get into a range of 5 or an 8, then you're basically in a chemical drought, which means that your plants can't take up the nutrients because the salts dry up the plants. And so you want to have the lowest number possible. If it is a higher number, then you'll know you need to leach your soil out by watering it for long periods of time so that that salt can be leached out of your soil. Another thing that is in your soil is the phosphorus, which on a chart, when you see numbers like a 300, you're going to have a nitrogen, no phosphorus, no potassium, where this one is your phosphorus here, and it's a P, and this one here is a 10.3, which is low. Now with phosphorus, there's two different methods that are very different. One is called Bray and one is called Colwell. And you want to make sure that you know which one it is, because they have a completely different way of measuring your phosphorus. A lot of times it'll give you interpretations on here. If it says low, you'll know that you need to add phosphorus to it. If it says high, then you don't really want to do anything at all. And the same thing with potassium. Basically the same thing, although there's only one really main way to be testing that. Then nitrogen is another one that's a key element to. A lot of times they'll give you numbers, and then they'll give you if you should be adding stuff. This one here says that it is a 38, which is high, so you don't need to be adding any nitrogen to that. There's all kinds of other things that you can look for on your soil test, things like zinc and iron and calcium and magnesium and sulfur, and these are all good to help interpret. The first thing that you want to actually correct when you anything is your pH, because that actually changes these things, makes them available, which they wouldn't be available if your pH was too high or too low. It's really a good idea to get your soil tested for the first year, and then go off of what their recommendations are on here. The basic things that you should know is your pH, your phosphorus, your salinity, your nitrogen, and your potassium. Those are the main things that you want to learn first. One thing to remember about your nitrogen is it can change. It can change so quick just with the amount of rainfall, because it can be used up quickly even before you get your test results back. If you've had a lot of rainfall, your nitrogen can be washed out, or if you were growing corn, which is a heavy feeder, then your nitrogen would be used up rather quickly. So that's one that you may even want to have a gauge to know, just a probe, you know, a personal probe that you can have. That way you can see where your nitrogen level's at and you're not adding too much or not having enough in your soil. There's just a few little helps for interpreting your soil test.